All right, I just want to show you what I want you to be able to work up towards in your ability to answer questions. So, can someone run a stopwatch for me? Open a stopwatch.
Yep.
Okay, ready? Ready to start? Are both of you running a stopwatch? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Start that stopwatch. 501, question 1. A, what was it? X plus 11 equals 0. I'm actually shafting myself here because I'm going to do explaining too. I'm not just going to work it out. What's the opposite of adding 11 to something? X plus 11, take 11, equals 0, take 11. So what's X going to be? Negative 11. What was the next one? D. 4x take 5 equals negative 17. What's the opposite of taking 5 from something? 4x take 5, add 5 equals negative 17. Add 5. 4x is going to be, what's negative 17 plus 5? Negative 12. What's the opposite of timesing something by 4? 4 divided by 4 is 1, so you're going to have x is equal to negative 3. D, what's next? G, 8x, take 1 equals 7. What's the opposite of taking 1 from something? 8. So I'm not going to do the bricks anymore, because see how the little squares, that's just there to show the working. But do you honestly absolutely need that all the time? Because if you've done it a few times, can you trust yourself a little bit? Isn't that the point of practice? So what's the opposite of taking 1 from something? Adding 1, so that's going to disappear. But to keep it balanced, I need to add 1 on the other side, so it's going to be 8. What's the opposite of timesing by 8? Dividing by 8, so x is going to be 1. The next one that you're supposed to do, it was 13 plus 7x equals negative 1. What kind of a 13 is that?
Positive.
I need to get rid of positive 13. What's the opposite of positive 13?
Negative.
Good. So if I took 13 from both sides, it's going to be 7x. Negative 1. What's negative 1? Take a further 13. So I noticed last lesson, some people were a bit iffy on the number line. If I'm at negative 1 and I take 13, I'm going to be at negative 14. What's 7 doing to x here? Multiply. What's the opposite of that? So x is going to be negative 2. Have I finished at question 1?
Yep.
Question 2. I'm going to do all of this because you're not the only class I'm going to use this for. I'll use it for the rest of my time as a teacher because I'm noticing the younger generations. It's like this. Okay, so I'm not just calling you out. 8 take x is equal to negative 3. What kind of an 8 is that? What's the opposite of adding 8? So if I took 8 from both sides, what's negative 3 take 8? Negative 11. If negative x is negative 11, what would positive x be?
11.
Just straight up 11. A, D, 6 take 4x is equal to negative 8. What's the opposite of positive 6? Negative 6. What's negative 8 take 6? Negative 14. What's the negative 4 doing to x? So what's the opposite of timesing by negative 4? Dividing by 4. Divide both sides by 4. X is going to be, if you divide a negative by another negative, what does the answer come out to? Good. So you have that. You have some ability. You're just not using it all in sequence. Can this cancel down at all?
Yeah.
Yeah? What number goes into both of those 2? So if I divide everything by 2, it's going to be 7 on 2. Can this cancel down anymore?
No.
Because there's no number that goes into both 7 and 2, so I'll leave it. A, D, G, 15 equals 3, take 2x. See, what I try to do is I go through and it gets harder. This looks weird because see how the number is on the left-hand side now? You probably don't like that. I've worked for 12 years. People don't like when things are rearranged, but it doesn't change what you do. I need to get x by itself. X is already on the right-hand side. So I'll just leave it on the right-hand side. I want to get rid of this 3. What kind of a 3 is that?
Positive.
What's the opposite of positive 3?
Negative.
So if I took 3 from 15, what's it going to be?
12.
12 equals negative 2x. See how I left the x on the right hand side? What's the negative 2 doing to x? What is negative 2 doing to
Multiplying.
Good. What do I have to do on the other side?
Divided by negative 2.
Good. That cancels. What's 12? A positive number divided by a negative number is going to give you?
Negative.
Good. I kind of want to make it like full army. You need to say, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Command Master Chief. Something like that. I don't know. I, 4 equals 3, take 2x. What's the opposite of positive 3?
Negative 3.
So take 3 from both sides. What's 4 take 3 going to be?
1.
What's negative 2 doing to x?
Multiply.
Divide by negative 2. That cancels. X is going to be, what do you get when you've got a positive divided by negative?
Negative.
Negative 1 on 2. ADGI, how long are we up to now on your stopwatch?
5 minutes 26.
Am I proving my point here?
Yeah.
I'm going to do the whole thing, because what I'm going to do in the first lesson is give you time to catch up. You can chill, or you can move on to the next thing. Right? Oh, damn it. I'll need to mute that. 3a x on 4 equals 7. Is there anything here that I did not teach in lesson 1?
No.
Because you have a right to... I'll go to the principal and quit if I didn't teach it and I expected you to do it. That's how organized I am. Okay? So I'll never ask you to do something I didn't teach you. What's the 4 doing to x?
Dividing.
What's the opposite of dividing by 4?
Multiplying.
Times by 4. Times by 4. 4 divided by 4 times by... something divided by 4 times by 4 is going to leave the thing. What's 7 times by 4? 28. A, D, what's D? X on 4, take 2 equals negative 5. Now, this one's a little tricky because there's multiple things to do here. But according to my teaching from last time, I need to go in reverse bed mass order. Bed mass. So what would be Sam, Deb? Is there a subtraction here? That's what I need to deal with first. What's the opposite of taking 2?
Adding 2.
X on 4 equals, what's negative 5? Add 2.
Take 3.
Good. This, I like this. What's the opposite of dividing by 4? Times by 4 times by 4. Something divided by 4 times by 4 leaves the thing. What's a negative times by a positive?
Negative.
Yes? Negative 12. ADG. Was it G? Yeah. G. 4 equals 2 plus X on 3. This looks weirder. Notice how they get harder. Because if I only got you to practice the easy ones, you're going to complain when we get to test time. Okay? What I want to do is your practice is harder than the real thing. So when it's test time, you're like, bro, this is not so bad. What's the 3 doing to 2 plus X? What's this over 3? What's 3 doing? Dividing. What's the opposite of dividing by 3? So 4 times by 3 is 12. You're going to have 2 plus X left on the top. What's the opposite of positive 2?
Negative 2.
Good. So what's 12 take 2? 10 equals, what's left on the right hand side? X. I'm not going to mark you down if your X is on the right hand side, because what does an equal side mean? One side is equal to the other. Who cares if it's on the left or the right? Have we done 3?
Yeah.
One more, 4a 2x plus 11 equals 3 equals 0. What's the 3 doing? I hate fractions. I need to get rid of them. Dividing, what's the opposite of dividing by 3? Times that by 3, times this by 3, the fraction's going to go away. What's 0 times by anything? 0. What's the opposite of adding 11 to something? So 2x is equal to negative 11. What's 2 doing? Timesing, so I divide. It's going to be negative 11 on 2. Can that cancel at all? 11's is an odd number, 2 is an even number, so I can't do anything with that. Put a box around it, because that's my answer. AC 1 plus 2x on 5 equals 7. What's the opposite of that? Multiply times 5 times 5. So that's going to cancel. It's going to be 1 plus 2x is equal to 35. Opposite of adding 1 to something. Good. 2x is equal to 34. Opposite of timesing by 2, divide by 2. So x is going to be, I believe, is 17. You've got access to a calculator. You're allowed to use a calculator. Okay? The only time where you're going to be prevented from using a calculator is in year 11 and year 12. There's one test in each of those years where you're not allowed to use a cheat sheet or calculator. Okay? But not this year. Unless I want to be nasty. Yes? Yep. You still timing?
Yeah.
Last one. E was 1/4. 1 take 3x equals negative 2. What is the same as timesing something by a quarter? A quarter of something is the same as dividing it by 4. So this looks weird to you. It kind of looks weird to me, but that is exactly the same as 1 on 3, all divided by 4. It's negative 2. What's 4 doing here? What is it doing right now? Dividing. What's the opposite of dividing by 4? Multiplying by 4. Multiplied by 4. So that's going to cancel. You're going to have 1 take 3x is equal to negative 8. What's the opposite of adding 1 to something? Taking 1. Negative 3x is equal to negative 9. What's the opposite of times it by negative 3? Divide by negative 3. What's a negative divided by a negative?
Positive.
What's 9 divided by 3 then?
3.
X is equal to 3. What time do we have?
11:30.
Now, I'm not done yet. Can I go to the back of your little PDF and check that they're right? I might have made a mistake here. I'm pretty sure I didn't, but have you had teachers before that said, oh, they made a mistake and they were, I was just testing you. No, I'm not going to do that. If I've made a mistake, then I've made a mistake. Let's quickly. So we're not done yet. Is that still running? I'm going to include the time to check. Negative 11. D, negative 3. G, 1. I, negative 2. So I've done that correctly. I feel confident with that. 2, 11. 7 on 2. Negative 6. Negative a half. 3, 28. Negative 12. 10. 4. 11 on 2. 17. 3. How long did that take now?
30 seconds.
So 12 minutes?
Yeah.
Would you like me to calculate how many minutes there are in a day? You know how many minutes in a double?
An hour and 40.
It's 110 minutes, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you that first lesson. I haven't done 5A.2 here, but are there less questions to do in 5A.2? Mm-hmm. So that should take a little less than that? You don't know. You won't know unless you do it, okay? But I think I've proven my point here, all right? I don't think what I'm doing is onerous on you. If you didn't finish it, you should have done it for homework. I'm going to give you this first lesson to do that before I even teach anything, okay? So that you build. Do you question my confidence in this? How do you think I got that confident?
I'm doing a lot. Like, doing a lot.
Is that a lot?
Yeah.
What, 12 minutes of your day, is that a lot?
Sometimes.
I don't think you're going to win that argument, okay? So I'd like you to spend that first 50 minutes on catching up what you need to do.